I first got here, which now seems a long time ago already, Mayor Emanuel asked me if we had enough police officers. And I very simply said, I'm not sure. I said, I have to see where they are and what they're doing. And I think that we've become a little engrossed in how many officers we have. It's what they're doing and where they are that's more important than how many we have. Because the easy answer to the question could have been, no, Mayor, I need another 1,000 police officers, but I wasn't willing to do that. The scarecrow does not work in police work. If somebody wants to commit a crime, putting a police officer on a corner is not going to stop that crime from happening. It's only going to move it around to the next corner. So we've adopted a different philosophy now in the agency that we had, from in the past. And the mayor already articulated that, which is pushing down the authority and the accountability, plus giving the resources to the district commanders and holding them accountable for what's happening. That's working, believe it or not. And we're going to get better and better at this. We'll keep assessing how many officers we have and where they are and what they're doing, and we're going to continue to make improvements.
Can I add one thing, Cheryl? Oh, did you have something else?
I wanted to just say one thing.
Yeah.
The reason I'm asking that question is because in our neighborhood, we have people who are continuing to fire guns often. So we call 911, and on one occasion, a couple occasions we've called and they've said, we don't have anybody to deploy. That's a problem to me, because if there's shots in our neighborhood, we want somebody deployed.
Okay.
And you're right. And you're absolutely right. There's no reason that you shouldn't have a fast, efficient response. We have a second problem, and it's not that we don't have enough police officers. The problem is we have too many jobs. There are too many 911 calls in the system for us to respond to every single one. And if an officer is tied up on a lower level priority, then they're not available to respond to your shots fired call. So the system is kind of broken. The system is kind of broken, and what we have to do is two things. Can I finish what I'm saying? We have to do two things. The first thing was put more officers into the beat who handle those jobs. The second thing is to take some of those jobs out of the system, because you can only put 10 pounds in a 10-pound bag. So we're in the process right now of sitting down and reviewing all our calls for service and determining how we're going to improve our efficiency so that we are available to respond to those priority calls.
Whether I'm on a CTA train, in a playground, this is the question, okay? And I want to be clear. We have a fundamental strategy. More cops on the beat, getting kids, guns, and drugs off the street. Police was one. You heard about that. One of the first things we did as a city council, pass a new curfew law. Okay? I want these kids, no, and I was out handing out leaflets at 95th. 12 years old, 8:30, that light goes on outside, get your tail back in the house. Otherwise, there's a fine to the parent. Okay, now, I want you, Cheryl, there's also, I've sat through the meetings with Gary. I want you to know who you're sitting right next to. That's First Deputy Al Weisinger. Gary's number one, right below, okay? So if this is not a good answer, try Al. He may be a better answer than all of us. Okay, but hold on, okay? The piece of this is, Gary knows it, Al knows it. I went out also with the gang unit. These streets are the streets of the people in this room. They are not the streets of those gangbangers. And I'm tired of them treating those streets as if they're a personal shooting gallery, and they're not for our children to be able to play at playgrounds and go to and from school. And everything we do, whether it's cops on the beat, a curfew policy, I also want to be clear, keeping them in school longer so they learn but are safer. That is all part of a singular strategy. Learning and safer And when you be able to make that call, I think we have to be able to be smart. And I want to say one last thing about this. In the past, there was always a debate about dividing the city about how we did cop resources. By going through the central office, we avoided pitting the city against each other, but coming together with one strategy. And we are not done yet.